Legacy Collection. Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. I can't see the blue snowball. There it is. Testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now we're in good shape. And would you look at that? Twitch app is even working for me now. Cool. Let's see here. Let's put this there. And that should be fine. All right. I've got the controller. We'll get started in about, let's say 1 minute. Get this off the controller. A little bit of caked on dust. Or something like dust. Okay, got it. Whatever it was, I got it. Okay, let's not waste any time. Let's get this thing started right about now. Well, by right about now, I mean once I get into the game. I'll get started. Which should be in just a minute. Just had to take an extra quick drink. Okay, so 3 things I found out in the interim here between episodes. 1, yes, saving and loading your games does work here on the collection. I've pretty much always beaten these games in one sitting before, so never had a chance to test that out before. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, it doesn't save your controls when you quit out and then come back to it, so I had to switch my controls back to what they were previously. And third, your sub-tanks are emptied again when you quit out of the game and come back to it. That last one might be a bit of a sticking point considering what I did at the end of the last episode. But anyway, how you doing everybody? Welcome back to Mega Man X3, the Stream Edition. Last time, I'm not used to saying the Mega Man series under the Stream Edition because I only usually say it once. Last time, we got started with this game. We got 6 out of the 8 Mavericks finished, and we've actually completed our entire armor upgrade set. And today, I mentioned that I would probably be choosing whether or not I want to get the golden armor, although I already said I'm not going to do that, but what chip I'd be choosing for instead of the golden armor, the ultimate upgrade. And also, whether or not I'd be getting the Z-Saber. Now the latter, I'm going to save for later. The former, I have chosen what chip I would like. But before we get that chip, we got to go back to Gravity Beetle stage to fill up our E-Tanks. Because if I go like this, it should be not filled anymore. Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta wait for this to go happen. And as we know, there is a chip upgrade at the very end of the stage there, so that's also important. But yeah, as you can see, sub-tanks are empty, so now we gotta do something about that real quick by flying through the stage and using Frost Shield to just beat the heck out of people. There we go. Well, that's fine. Frost Shield is this way. So let me just fill these bad boys up real quick, and then we'll get moving into the stages. Shouldn't take too long. I believe what happens as well when you get the helmet upgrade in this game is that it actually changes up how much of your special weapons are used every time you use it. And then if you get the golden armor or the head chip, it further decreases the amount of weapon energy you use when you do it. I don't think it's that noticeable when you're just filling up sub-tanks like this, but I think it's more noticeable when you are using the fully charged versions of the special weapons, if I recall correctly. So, just so that you know how it all works. I swear it's eating my inputs here every now and then. Maybe I'm pressing it too close to after I land on the ground. I don't know. Before long, we should be ready to continue moving with the stage. It's also possible you can't shoot Frost Shield while moving, but I'm fairly certain I've done that previously, so I don't think that's it. Okay, I don't hear anything, which means we're full. Nice. Now let's get back to the meat and potatoes of it. And by that I mean going to a stage that we actually haven't beaten already. I don't even know why I'm saving, because it doesn't save sub-tanks, so yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, let's continue in my boss order, although there aren't too many bosses left to beat now. All we've got left at this point is Crush Crawfish and Toxic Seahorse, and out of the two, we're going to head to Crush Crawfish first. So that we can stop him from, yeah, I don't know, sending ships out and stuff, from doing anything at sea. I don't know how much sea would actually be a big deal, considering the fact that it's Reploids. I think they just fly everything, but I suppose we still have to deal with Crush Crawfish. So that's what we will do. Oh, look at that. There's actually a part, like, pretty close to the beginning of the stage there. And I will show you where that is. If this helmet would ever get off of me. Wow. Wow. Watch myself here. I'm cruising for a bruising. You know, I'll take that. I don't need it, but I'll take it. You can't get me. Now you can, but I'm being a big dumb wow. Alright, well, we could grab a ride armor, but let's hold off on doing that for right now. Just to take care of something. Now, you can only really kind of see it with the helmet here, but this platform is a little bit shaky compared to the other platforms. It's not something that you would know offhand, but if you do know where things are, you can use our tried and true strategy from Tunnel Rhino's stage last time. Punch the ground with the Tri-Thunder charged up all the way. And all the way down here is another ride armor upgrade, the Hawk armor. We'll put that to use eventually, but for right now, not so much. For now, let's go grab another ride armor. Do I want the Hawk armor? I'm trying to think if I'm ever going to use it outside of this stage. I don't think I am, so I guess we will take the Hawk armor. Might as well while we're here. I'll show off the Frog armor in the next stage as well, so yeah, as you can see, the Hawk armor lets you fly around, so I can slide my way around like the ride armor from X2 and swoop through the skies. That's all fine and good. Missiles do some pretty decent damage too, so that's not bad. Oh, that's right. Down here, as I said before, is one of the armor upgrades. You can get through this with any of the right armors as far as I know. It doesn't matter which one, but I'm pretty sure this is one that I actually want. I have chosen which chip I'd like, and it is the body chip. I'm pretty sure this is the body chip, so we're gonna check it out. Yes, this is the body chip, and this is the one that I'll be choosing for this playthrough, so we'll grab this bad boy to increase our defensive ability even further than it is already. Your defense shields will be enhanced, and you will receive even less damage. So we've already pretty much read this through, but yeah, you only get one of the 4 chips. If you're going for the ultimate upgrade, that is the golden armor, do not take any of the chips with you. You can, basically, the golden armor will take care of that for you, but you can't get the golden armor until you get to the fortress stages. So don't take any of the chip upgrades if you're planning on getting that ultimate upgrade. But I'm not planning on getting that. I'm going to stick with my tried and true blue and orange colors, along with a little bit of silver and white in there. Stick with the good old blue and chrome. And there we go, got a body chip. So now we get an even better shield, which will reduce damage, incoming damage to us even more than it would otherwise. The only other chip that I would consider to be totally worth it out of any of them would be the leg upgrade, because it allows you to do 2 air dashes in succession. So you could do double side dash, double up dash. It's nice for positioning yourself, but I don't think I'll need it. So we'll just make do with what we've got. Let's see what we've got in here. Will we have a friend pop up to see us? Yes, we will. Took your sweet old time getting here, Bite. Nice to meet you, X. I am Bite. I've been programmed to exterminate you. Well, that's not very nice. But anyway, Bite is a little bit easier than his brother was, mostly because of the fact that we're slightly more prepared for him. What he does is he has this charging attack, and I'm doing really badly against him, but basically he'll knock you off the wall. That thing there is a magnet, and that will pull you towards him. The idea... Okay, I'd like to explain what he's doing, but he's not even letting me do so. Essentially, I'm going to just explain it on the pause menu because he's being a big fat asshole about it. He is easier than Bit, I'm just being a dumb about it. He'll throw a magnet at the wall, that will pull you off of the wall, and then he'll charge at you. And if he hits you when he charges at you, he'll punch you up in the air and then punch you either to the left or to the right, and then keep charging you. So the idea is to stay on the wall, and then just avoid his punch, shoot him, and keep going from there. Now you could use, I think he's weak to Tornado Fang, if I remember right, in order to kill him a little quicker, but we're, as I said before, going to try to do this Buster only, so... But that's the gist of it right there. Basically, once he throws that, air dash across, and you'll be fine. Don't air dash like I just did there, because that will get you hurt. So, but basically, once it starts pulling you off the wall, his magnet there, start air dashing, because that will move you just right. But yeah, I'm making this look a lot harder than it actually is. As you can see, another change that the charge up there has from the Mega Man X2 counterpart is that you can't go through enemies' hit frames with it, unfortunately. So, now that I made that look a lot harder than it actually is, let's continue here. I'm still not used to the arm upgrades charging frames that it requires. It makes it harder. I can't like dash and shoot like I usually can. Like normally when you're using just the regular Buster, you can dash immediately after firing the thing, and when you have the upgrade, you have that bit of startup time where you can't do anything because X gets locked in an animation where he shoots both of them. So it takes some getting used to. Hopefully I'll be used to it by the time we're done with the stream. Anyway, I didn't expect you'd had this power. I've lost this time, but I'll crush you next time. See, I made that one look a lot harder than it actually is. Not ideal, but we'll figure out how to do that. Maybe next time we'll be more ready for him. I believe down there... No, it's not down there. was going to say is the capsule. But in reality, the capsule's actually over here, because if I go like this, well, I'll get that, but if you slide the capsule that Vial is in. But normally, here, right here, this is not filled in. You can slide down there and get the Vial's capsule if you haven't gone there just yet. Here's a new enemy, and what that enemy does is when you shoot at it, it will basically do a sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it. He'll move towards the floor in such a way that you can't shoot him directly with the X-Buster, which is why special weapons, again, come in very handy in these stages because it makes it even easier to get through that. Well, my commentary is a little bit off point today, isn't it? I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, basically to kill those guys, don't shoot them with the X-Buster because it makes it harder to kill them, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I have that would be better against this guy. I don't think so, other than like Frost Shield. Yeah, he must be like resistant to it, like completely or something, because he's not taking any damage from that whatsoever. Alright, well, he blew open the floor for me, so I might as well take care of this. But yeah, basic gist with Bite, just don't suck like I did. That's the gist of it. Dad, can you turn that down a little bit? Please? Thank you. This wall can be broken with Tornado Fang in order to get a couple extra lives. And just like that, we're back up to the 4 lives and, well, almost full sub-tanks that we had last time. So, that's pretty good. Have a Parasitic Bomb, my friend. Gotta watch going down here, though, because this guy isn't immune to Parasitic Bomb, but it takes a lot to damage him and kill him with it. I'm just standing in them like, you know what, I don't care. But yeah, watch when you're coming down from the wall there from getting the extra lives, because there are spikes here, and they will hurt. So, yeah, like if you came down like that. Put those away, man. What do you think this is? Alright, let's keep going. Oh, not really a mini-boss or anything here either, so... I was hoping that would do it. There we go. Gotta blow up this generator. Basically, what happened here is that when we destroyed that one spiky dude, we ended up inside of Crush Crawfish's submarine. That will become more apparent as we go through the stage here. So we just broke the power source of the thing, and now it's all flipped sideways, basically. So we gotta just make it work from there. Wow, close one. I think those guys up there are actually immune to, these guys, that is, are actually immune to the Parasitic Bomb, so I can't really use that just as effectively as I would be able to otherwise. But we've made it to the end of the submarine and the end of the stage, so now we'll fight Crush Crawfish. Might actually have a little trouble with him, too, because I'm not used to the timing yet on the shots, but we'll see what happens. I don't think he's too bad, though. Okay, I'm not pressing up. Ideally, you don't want him to grab you in his claws there. Now, those little things there are like basically miniature rubber bands, and if you stay on the ground, they don't do much of anything. But if you are on the wall, they will pull you off of the wall so he can grab you with his pincers and stab you. So, ideally, you want to stay off the wall when they are being shot at you, like this. And then jump to the wall and get over top of him afterwards. Now, after half HP, he gains that overdrive attack there with his tail. That deals lots of damage, so you don't want to get hit by that, ideally. I already have the body armor upgrade and the body chip, so it's dealing significantly less damage than it otherwise would. So, okay, I think I need a sub-tank. I was trying to get through it without using it, but I guess we'll have to make it work without it. There we go. Wouldn't have needed it if I would have just played okay, but that's fine. We got sub-tanks for a reason, might as well use them. But yeah, ideally, just don't get hit by the overdrive attack. If you end up on the wall there when he's using the overdrive attack, I don't think he can knock you off the wall with it, but he might be able to. I usually just try to jump over him whenever he comes on my side of the stage. Basically, you're trying to keep him off of your side of the stage. Like you split the stage down the middle, and if he comes to the left side while you're on the left, move to the right, and vice versa. Anyway, for defeating Crushed Crawfish, we get the Spinning Blade, the fourth weapon out of the four that I talked about before that I like to use a lot. This one I like to use for pretty much the same reason I like to use Fire Wave and Storm Tornado in X1, because it's obnoxiously powerful. So it's pretty much as strong as the Frost Shield, and it does some pretty nifty things to killing enemies, especially ones that have large hitboxes or large amounts of HP, like that guy with the spike balls on his chain arms there. Usually you can take those guys out in I think 2 or 3 Spinning Blades. So it's really strong, and we have the helmet upgrades, so now we can use them more efficiently than we would otherwise need to. But with that being said, nothing left to do now except take on the final Maverick in the list. So let's head back to the waste disposal facility, wade through knee-deep sewage, and probably get some down X's throat because he doesn't close his mouth while he's climbing, to take on Toxic Seahorse. I'm having a lot of trouble today because I'm either burping or the air is getting caught in my throat. I know that's a weird thing, but it happens, and it's unfortunate. Okay, so a couple of things in Toxic Seahorse's stage. Mostly what I want to grab is there's a ride armor upgrade that I can grab in this level, and I will be using the frog armor to do it. So we'll work on that in a minute. Yep. I'll take that, thank you. So those guys, I guess, are sort of like the shield guys from X2, where if you charge up your shot, they will occasionally just jump over it. I don't know if the shield guys in X2 did that, but basically they have options when they're fighting you, so that's the gist of it. Do you die to Tri-Thunder? Yes, you do. Cool. Ow. There we go. Nice and easy. So we'll just use that to get through here slightly quicker than we would otherwise be able to. Gotta be careful though, because Tri-Thunder doesn't protect you from all directions until the electricity goes away, so... Fine, you go that way, I'll go this way. Wow. Grab that. There we go. Cool. Hey Conker, it's going pretty good. How's it going for you? Just making my way downtown, well, through the toxic disposal facility here in X3, so it's all good though. It's all good. I think this is Bit and Bite's room. Yeah, and since we've beaten both of them, obviously nobody's going to show up anymore, so pretty much a freebie now, like it was at the beginning of the game. What else have we got here? Oh, that's right, we get a ride armor platform right up here. I've shown this already, but let's grab the frog armor now since we're going underwater down here, and this will help with it. Now, I don't remember exactly which direction the ride armor's in and which direction the chip upgrade is in. I think the chip is to the right and the ride armor's to the left at the top of the water here, so we'll see in a minute. But as you can see, the frog armor has homing torpedoes on it, and it jumps a lot higher when you're underwater than it does otherwise. So you can actually jump with the X button as well to jump a little higher or a little farther as you go here. Now ideally in this part you don't want to kill the turtles because then their little shields will float to the surface, and that will make the platforming that we're going to have to do in a minute a lot harder, but we'll make it work. Might as well make a bit of a challenge for myself, right? Okay, so the idea there is that there was a bunch of fans blowing over here, and I just destroyed them with the frog armor to make it easier, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I think what you can do with this is you can, like, mash the dash button or something. Nope, not like that. Like that. There we go. And if you mash it in this direction, basically as long as you keep mashing it, you can move to the left or the right while you're underwater. We want to move to the left because we can do that little surface jumping trick that we did in X2 to get the E-Tank, I think it was, in Bubble Crab stage. Except we're going to be doing it by going up, jumping out of the armor, hopefully jumping over the turtle shells and getting all the way to the left. It might take a few tries, so we'll see what I can do. Sort of helping with setting up on a party later on a break. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, hopefully the party will be fun. Yeah, this is the idea right here. Wow, I fell off. The armor still here? No, it's not. Now, if you fall off like that, it's not the end of the world, but it will make the journey a little harder because we got to get up here now. I think if you go this way, this is where the capsule is. Yeah, so there's another breast cancer awareness capsule for the... You know, what chip is that? I'm just going to see. Because I don't think I've ever gotten this chip. Enter this capsule, X. So this is the leg chip. Okay, so this is the other one that I would recommend getting if you were going to grab one of the chips, because this one lets you dash in midair twice in a row. Just remember, of course, you can only have one of the 4 chips, and if you've already taken a chip like I have, he'll say, what? You've already installed another chip. I'm sorry, but you can't be equipped with more than one chip. Life is sometimes cruel, isn't it, X? Only if you hold out on me, Dr. Light. You're holding out on me as bad as you were in the last 2 games when you had all these fancy upgrades this game. Anyway, let's see what we can do about getting past these things. There we go, got it. So yeah, spamming jump on the surface there, it gets a little tricky after a little while. You don't have to if you don't destroy the turtles there, because then their shells won't float to the surface, but we made it work anyway, and for coming up here, we get the final ride armor in the game, the kangaroo armor. It's basically the, it's almost like a straight upgrade to the Chimera armor, although at this point in the game, we pretty much won't have any reason to use it anymore, but yeah, we might still make use of it at some point. So, we'll see. I think there's one stage later that I might be able to make use of it in it, so. I still like this guy's animations that he's got going on with the tentacles there, because he's always, as soon as you shoot him, he's like, oh god, stop shooting me! Why are you doing this? I'm an innocent squid robot. Are you feeling it now, Squidward? I don't think that's how that goes. Okay, so. Oh, I missed that completely. Oh well. We'll find more life energy where that came from. Or we won't, and I'll just use a sub-tank. One or the other. And I didn't have to use the updash when I was doing it up there. But when I was trying to get the kangaroo armor, it's just that because I was using the control stick instead of a control pad, it just sort of worked out that way. Why don't you have a little parasitic bomb there, son? Get you some. There you go. Might as well disable them. When you walk off screen, by the way, the parasitic bomb automatically explodes, so if you're concerned with not having it, just walk off the screen, it'll blow up, and then you can use another one. Although I think we're stuck in this particular instance because it was technically still on the screen there. Technically. There's also a bit of a waiting period between Triad Thunders there, but we'll make it work. I think a good old-fashioned X-Buster would be slightly better. Actually, no, you know what will be better? Parasitic Bomb. There we go. Nice and easy. And just like that, we're at the boss. Cool. Hey Todd, how's it going? It just clicked. Which chip did I get? So it didn't change over from the auto host until now. That's not good. I got the body chip. That was the chip that I chose for even further damage reduction because well, the end game is a little bit difficult with its damage. So I said, you know what? Let's just grab the body chip, make it even easier. All right, let's take on the boss of the stage, Toxic Seahorse. Nope, I lost it. There we go. Did that even hit? No, of course it didn't. Why would it? But yeah, basically the chip that I got there will make it so that I take even less damage as long as that red barrier is up. So it's like a 75% reduction in total damage now. Yeah, this is why I decided to take on Toxic Seahorse last, because he is a little obnoxious with the way that he hops around the room. You kind of got to stay on the floor almost to overcome him. Also, add that to the fact that I'm terrible with the current arm upgrade, and, well, you can see how things won't be working out for me very well. Okay, now he's doing his little that thing. So what you want to do there, get on the wall, wait for him to be done, and then shoot him again. But yeah, he never walks towards you. He'll just shoot his little acid bubbles at you. Those ones are tracking, though, so you got to be a little careful with those. It forces you up on the wall a little more than you'd otherwise be. Because they'll follow you if you don't go up on the wall. I'm getting out of here, forget you. I'm pushing my luck a little bit, but we'll see if it works out. It might. Nope, might not. It did not. Damn it. Oh, you heard the explanation, but it didn't register I had a chip even after I said, oh, okay, I see what you meant. Acid messaging announcement. I saw it, Todd. I didn't have a chance to read it before I started doing the stream there. I'll read it as soon as I'm done. I think I did see the part where you said I did my homework correctly, though, in terms of the price levels. So, all right, let's use this fight to get more used to the mechanics of the what's it called? The new Buster upgrade that I got. Get used to when it's okay to fire. Just like that. Man. I don't think that the, okay, he's already in overdrive mode, which makes this a little harder, but that's okay. I don't think that the PS2, that's the one thing I guess that's different really from this version of the game, the one that I'm playing on the PS4, versus the collection I was playing on the PS2 emulator, is that it seems like the 60 FPS that it claims for the game to be, or the 60 FPS that I'm playing the game in, is false. It's playing it almost like how it was in Super Nintendo, where it was 30 FPS, so sorry if that bothers anybody. It bothers me, so you're not alone if it bothers you. I'll just hold on to this for a hot minute. Damn it. Where are you gonna go? Over there? Okay, well, at least it's still hit. Alright, I'm sick of you, Toxic Seahorse. Get out of here! He's probably the hardest one, or the one at least that I have the most trouble with because of the way that he moves so erratically. And of course I made it harder, again, by getting the arm upgrade, but that's okay. We got him. Alright. Okay, so next order of business is going to be to go back to Gravity Beetle stage, fill up my E-tanks again. But for defeating Toxic Seahorse, we get the final weapon in the game. This is the one that I was talking about, where if you use it on an enemy, they'll always drop weapon energy. So if you need to refill, you can use Acid Burst on them. Apparently you can also direct where Acid Burst goes, like if you hold a direction or something like that, but I've never tried it, so I guess we'll give it a shot at some point. Oh, there's Dr. Kane. I guess they repaired Maverick Hunter HQ. Any problems, Dr. Kane? What was his voice like again? I pulled some memory chips from the Mavericks controlled by Dr. Doppler. They made very ominous music in the background. I analyzed them and found out that Dr. Doppler is trying to create a powerful new battle body by collecting the special abilities from the latest breed of Reploids. Maybe the doctor's body's getting old, and he needs a new one. Battle body? First, I thought Dr. Doppler was trying to create it for himself. That's what I'm thinking, but but the information indicates that he will not be able to interface with it. How much do we know about this battle body, then? So it must be for someone else. Maybe for Bit and Bite, perhaps? Where'd you get that? I thought we killed Sigma last time. Sigma? Can he still be alive? Of course he's alive. He's Sigma in a Mega Man X game. What do you think this is? A different series? A hidden laboratory has been pinpointed at Point D. All indications are that it is Dr. Doppler's secret lab. You need to get there immediately. Will do there, Doctor. On my way. It's time I put an end to Sigma for good. But we can't play as you in Boss Fight 0, so you can't put an end to him for good. Ah, damn it, that means he's gonna come back next time again, isn't he? Oh, Sigma. But there we go, we have found Dr. Doppler's secret base, and now we can head over there. But first, let's go fill up our 2 E-tanks again. But of course Sigma's the villain. Why wouldn't he be? He's always the villain of these games, so... If you were expecting Dr. Doppler to be the villain, sorry. You may have lost that bet. Okay, so the arm chip is in this stage, which means that probably the one that's in Blast Hornet's stage is the head chip. I would assume the head chip doesn't do much other than reduces the amount of weapon energy that you use even more than the helmet upgrade does normally, so... not that useful. At least not to me. Excuse me. Alright. Gather up all ye frost shields and let's fill up these E-tanks. And then we will head right into Dr. Doppler's lab and get that all going. See who's waiting for us in Doppler Stage 1. Or should I call it Sigma's Fortress Stage 1, because at this point it's like pretty much practically confirmed at this point that he's going to be back. So, I think I just filled up the last one. Let's see. Yes, I did. Cool. Alright, Conker, see you in a minute. Okay. We're done filling up our E-tanks. We're ready. Let's go into Sigma's Fortress. Or Dr. Doppler's Fortress. It's both of their fortresses, really. Yeah, they are pretty nice in that regard. They definitely help a little bit, just in case, like, you hit something and then they drop, and it's, oh, I didn't kill it, or something else comes up right there, drop right on them, so. Now, we don't have ground-penetrating radar for this part, so it's kind of difficult to find the ultimate upgrade in this stage without knowing where it is, but we'll figure it out. Let's test out our new spinning blades and see how well they do. As you can see, quite powerful. Very strong. They deal lots of damage to the enemies here, so I'm thinking Parasitic Bomb might be better for this guy. Not enough to deal with this guy, though. Now, the ceilings will come down and try to crush you here, so you got to do a few little like short hops and then use the air dash. Dash jumps, not going to work so well here. I mean, they still work if you do it, but you have to time them very well in order to get through here. Yeah, you remember how busted Storm Tornado or Fire Wave were? They're back. I'm gonna get crushed. Yep, I knew it. I'm never good at those crush sections. It always messes me up. Oh well. As if that weren't bad enough, we'll get even worse later on. Alright, let's test out the Acid Burst then, so I can show you that it does, in fact, give you weapon energy. There you go. And even bigger weapon energy, so you can grab stuff like the Parasitic Bomb that we've got here. That I'm going to use on this guy. And I can't use Spinning Blades because he's still on screen. That's fine. See, like there, you can do a short hop and still get through there, but I prefer the air dash, so... Who said that horizontal utility on the air dash wasn't useful in this game? Oh, that was me? Just ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. The other thing about the spinning blades is that they will actually turn around and go further out on the screen. So, like, they shoot this way, and then they shoot backwards. Now, the thing with that is that if you hit the enemy with both of the spinning blades, it deals both of the spinning blades worth of damage. So if I hit the enemies directly in front of me with it, like a shotgun or like the Fire Wave from X1, it has very, very high damage output, so it's pretty nice. I like it. Whew, just barely got through that one. Alright, cool. Welcome back, Conker. You didn't miss much. Pretty much just died to that obstacle that we just showed off there. And now we're back. Hee hee. Alright, got my spinning blades back. Got parasitic bomb all the way up. Anything to shoot with parasitic bomb here? Doesn't look like it. Let's keep using the spinning blades then. Uh-oh. What the hell is that supposed to be? Well, in case it wasn't obvious, in the background there's a bunch of junked parts, so those are probably the parts that Dr. Doppler's using for his new battle body. And this robot is a junk robot that, I guess, recycles them? I don't know how it would recycle them. Does it stick it in its teeth? That seems horribly inefficient. X, I've come to help you. I'll stop the collapsing ceiling. You destroy that junk robot. Okay, can do, Zero. Now here's the thing about the spinning blades. It also has one of the best fully charged weapons in the entire game because it has a spinning yo-yo that you can control with the directional pad, and it deals an absurd amount of damage. I couldn't make this up if I tried. It literally gives me a yo-yo with blades on it. Like, you couldn't make this up if you tried. It shoots shurikens and lightning. Actually, we have a weapon that pretty much does that already, so... X, there's an army of powerful Mavericks in Dr. Doppler's lab. They've been modified by Dr. Doppler into war machines. Be careful. Will do, Zero, no problem. I'll watch my step. Thanks, Zero. I'm going to scout around. I'll catch up later. Now, if Zero wasn't around at this point, if he died during one of your expeditions there, he wouldn't be able to stop the ceiling from collapsing, and there'd be a big thing right over here that you have to also destroy. I think it takes like 1 or 2 spinning blades to kill. Not a big deal. Never used the yo-yo. Should play X3 3 times. I would recommend you give it another shot there, Todd, because, I don't know. I know we had a little bit of a disagreement on the special weapons there, but I really like the special weapons in this game. They're some of my favorites in the series, so... I would say maybe give it another shot and try using something other than just the X-Buster. You might be surprised. I just like watching the parasitic bomb go off. It's so cool. Well, I don't know what was up there, but I guess we're going to find out in a minute. Because I'm going to go back up there. I think actually I do know what's up there. I just gotta get back there. Like this maybe? Ah, there we go. Don't bring me down! There we go, cool. Yes, there's a ride armor platform up here, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and use it because we will never have a chance to show off the kangaroo armor if I don't. Does it give me boxing gloves on my hands? No, but it does let me do this again, like I used to, except instead of it shooting you forward like the armor in Crystal Snail Stage in X2, it shoots out an arm, a retractable arm at that you can use to punch things with. So yeah, it's pretty good, the kangaroo armor. I usually don't end up getting it until like the very end of the game, so it usually doesn't end up doing any work for me. Chimera armor, pretty much always doing the thing that's doing the work for me out of anything, so. Now, this next part you can jump over, and there's a bunch of spike balls to my right that we will have to deal with. But first, before we do that, I'm actually going to head down here. Now, hug the wall to the left. I may have to jump out of the kangaroo armor because it's not big enough to fit in there. But if you go inside of here, there's nothing here. Well, if I hadn't taken the body chip back in Crushed Crawfish's stage there'd be another capsule here with Dr. Light, and if you hadn't taken any of the chips there, basically, yeah, don't take any of the chips during the 8 Mavericks run there, and there'll be another capsule right here with Dr. Light, and he'll say, here, you didn't take a chip, so here's something that gives you all 4 chips. So you get the golden armor right here, which will allow you to, let's see, dash twice in midair, take even less damage, and generate a barrier that lets you take even less damage. It also gives you access to the hypercharge, which is the arm chip. That allows you to do successive charge shots without having to charge them up, as long as you have enough bar for it. Sort of like the Giga attack from X2, except using your arm cannon instead. And then the head chip, which further decreases how much weapon energy you use whenever you use weapon energy. So It's pretty good, the golden armor, but I have other priorities, so... I will, however, I'll be linking a playthrough that shows all of the choices and the consequences in this game in the description here. It's by a guy on YouTube named Bean1227, and he did a very good job of showing off everything that this game's different varying branching paths have to offer. So I'll leave it to him to show you what everything does. But for me, I'm going to stick with my... tried and true blue and orange look, although right now it's just an orange look, so whatever. But yeah, you can test out your new golden armor right here, so you can test out your double dashes if you want and everything like that, but not too much of a purpose it serves otherwise. Okay, so for the next boss, we're going to want to have the Ray Splasher because they are actually weak to that, so let's get that out and get ready to go. Use my little ray shotgun. Uh-oh, it's Bit and Bite again. Hopefully they're not going to fight me at the same time. We've been waiting for you, X. Dr. Doppler modified us after our first battle against you. Take a look at these new upgrades. I can't do both of their voices at once, unfortunately. I'm not that good. And by fusing together, Bit and Bite have become the God Car Machine. I prefer to think it's spelled G-O-D-K, or not K-A-R, C-A-R-M-A-C-H-I-N-E. The head is the weak point there, and as you can see, it's weak to Ray Splasher, but the rest of the body deals some pretty significant damage with that sword there. Now that one will hold you in place on the ceiling, I suppose. Let's use a sub-tank since it's holding me in place here. The other arm will not hold you in place, but it does make it a little easier to shoot him while I'm doing that. I'm not practiced against this boss at all, in case you can't tell. But, thankfully, see, like, you can dash underneath these. Just don't stand on the wall because it separates once you're on the wall there. Thankfully, it's really, really easy with the Ray Splasher because of how much range it has. Pretty much, even if that hand grabs a hold of you, you can get good damage off on it anyway and just kill it immediately. You can also jump behind it, but then it starts shooting missiles like that drill guy back in Tunnel Rhino's stage, so I wouldn't do that because he's easy enough as it is. Always mess up and kill Bit or Bite before this. Well, then you'll be learning something new today, Todd, because I specifically, well, I kind of screwed myself in the regard of what bosses I would have to fight here when I said at the beginning of the series, we're always going to do the first 8 Mavericks with just Buster only, and then I'll start using weaknesses in the Sigma Fortresses. I pretty much had to kill Bit, Bite, and Vile without using their weaknesses here as a result of that claim, so I had to stick true to my word after all. Excuse me. Alright, I don't think we need to fill up our one sub-tank there. Let's keep going with Dr. Doppler's stages. And keep using the spinning blades liberally. Because it's just that good. I could use the Frost Shield as well, but I might as well use this. So, who busted this place up? We're supposed to be the ones busting this place up. What the hell? It's kind of weird. Oop. Have that. Should be using Parasitic Bomb, but, you know. Oh, okay, cool, thanks. Whoops. There we go. Okay, well, maybe if I didn't dash into somebody, we'd be in better shape, but... Now I'm just sucking, because I'm anticipating what's coming next in the stage, and it's messing me up, man. There we go. This stage has a bit of a... It's not a puzzle, per se. It's just an annoying section that will make things more difficult than they have to be, so... Oh, I meant to dash up, but okay. Thankfully, that barrier makes it a lot easier to just run through these sections without having to worry too much. Gotta love the body chip! Okay, I've shown off all the armors at this point, but this was where I was going to show off the Hawk armor, so let's give it a shot. I do like the music in this stage, it's just that it also has to compete with the Final Fortress stage music from X1 and X2, and both of those tracks are phenomenal, so yeah. I'm just going to fly right past these guys, hope you guys don't mind. Well, not this guy, but... The rest, yeah, definitely. There's bottomless pits down here, basically, so you don't want to do too much with that if you don't want to get yourself in trouble, basically. And that section's a little tricky without the leg upgrade, but which you can get here without the leg upgrade. It's totally possible to beat this game without it. I just find it a lot easier to not get myself stuck like that, you know? Or is it the next stage where the... Oh, no, it's not. It's this stage. Hello? Hello? Bit? Bite? Vile? Where are you guys? Well, anyway, this reveals to you whether or not I'm getting the Z-Saber if you've played the game before. Because if you come into this room with 0, there's actually a separate boss fight that you can do here that will allow you to... You can actually fight this boss with 0, unlike most bosses in the game. But if you fight this boss with 0, you actually... Basically what'll happen is when he kills the boss will kamikaze into him and damage him to the point where he needs to get repaired. When he does that, X will come in and be like, 0, are you okay? And then 0 will be like, yeah, I'm okay, but I need to go back for repairs. Here, take my Z-Saber and kill Sigma with it. So then you'll get the Z-Saber, and you can essentially charge up, just like 0 does at the beginning of the game when you were using him, and do this shot, and then you'll have a green aura where you will swing the saber. Now, the saber is obnoxiously powerful. It's almost as strong as the Hadoken and the Shoryuken from X1 and X2, but... And that's one of the reasons why I said, you know what, let's not use it. I'm going to try to play this game as underpowered as I can and still beat it, because this game was pretty hard for me originally when I played it. Like, it was to the point where I wasn't very good at it, if I'm being honest with you, so... So I'm deciding to say, you know what, forget it. We're just gonna beat it like real men and ladies who dress like men, I guess. That. I guess the Tri-Thunder is slightly more powerful than the Spinning Blades then, isn't it? Because it hits and kills those guys in 2 hits. Oh well, it's fine. Anyway, here's the real bastard of a part for this stage. There are these snails that walk up these walls full of spikes very slowly. And you have to ride them up, or else there's no way for you to get up there. Now, thankfully, I can use Parasitic Bomb while I'm going up here to take care of the Helots, so that should make things a little easier. Now, what that just did was it destroyed the armor shell on this snail. You have to transfer walls a couple of times here as you're going up the stage, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, this part sucks. End of story. Pretty much, Todd. That's exactly it. Because the Helots are obnoxious, the fact that you're moving up slowly is obnoxious, and if you mess up and end up on one of the walls there at all, you have to start all over again, just like that. I went too far because I was like, I should get out of here, and now I have to start that whole section over. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a little annoying, so... Ow. I just want weapon energy, man. Can you give me some back? Because I'm going to need it. More than, like, 0 of it. Just go as far up as I can and then get out of this guy's way. There we go. That was kind of cool. Alright. So this time I'm prepared. Somewhat prepared. Okay, so basically, basic gist of it, use Parasitic Bomb going up, and when the second snail shows up, I'm going to switch over to the X-Buster for a minute, because the Parasitic Bomb, the snails are immune to Parasitic Bomb, basically, so using it won't do me any good. So yeah, just do an air dash, and don't go too far. If you fall, you can still get back up here, but it is essentially like starting all over again, so gotta be a little careful. I think there's 2 Helots that'll pop up. One... no, another one's gone. I think the next one's going to pop up above me. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. There we go. Ray Splasher works here too, just in case you were wondering. In case you want to use something that isn't exactly what I was using. Now that snail you don't want to transfer the wall to, because as you can see, he's on a fixed track there. He will only ever go that far and then end up back down. So then you'd have to wait it out for this snail to come all the way back down off of its track. And I don't want to do that, so... That one's a little tough. That made it look a little easier than it actually is, but this is the last little part, so let's ride this guy up for a little bit. Just in case of surprise Helid, I'm probably going to take out Tri-Thunder. And there you go, we're out of there. Cool. And just like that, we're at the boss of this stage, so let's check it out and see what it is. Oh, I can move again. Isn't this supposed to be a boss room? Maybe when I jump down. No! What do you mean, no? Well, anyway, yeah, so this is another one of those bosses where there's a consequence, basically, depending on your choice. Now, as you remember, when we went to the secret stage with Vile, we didn't kill him with his weakness. If we killed him with his weakness, there'd be a boss right here and no door on this side, so we would basically face that boss instead of Vile. Similarly, if you defeated Bit and Bite with their weaknesses there, you'd fight a different boss at the end of the Sigma Fortress #1. You'd fight a trash compactor, and that boss is kind of obnoxious to fight, but really both of the bosses in Sigma Stage 1 can be somewhat challenging. But since we didn't defeat Vile with his weakness, there's only one thing that can be behind this door now. Vile again. In this armor, unfortunately, we can't just jump over like the other one. My waiting has finally come to an end. Prepare to die at the hands of the world's most advanced riding armor, the new Goliath. Man, Vile, I didn't know you had more money than I did, so you could buy that kind of stuff. Well, anyway. Those spinning things that he has there deal significant amounts of damage, so you don't want to get hit by them if you can afford not to. While they're spinning, anyway. You can use them to jump over him, though. If you are, like, you can use those platforms. Once they stop spinning and do that, you can do this to jump over him with them, so. He's weak to the parasitic bomb in this form, so just in case you're wondering what he's weak to here. I find it hard, honestly, to dodge him without being prudent with it, like this. So basically just dash to the other end of the room, see what he does, hit him with a parasitic bomb, and keep going. You can kind of hear him when he starts coming towards you, too, because his armor will go like that. So sometimes he'll shoot off a projectile, sometimes he'll shoot off those spinning things there, but most of the time he ends up just coming after you there. So unfortunately, I can't control his mech armor with the parasitic bomb like I can most enemies, but it still all works. So there goes his Goliath. Now we still have Vile to defeat, so. And I think he's pretty much the same as he was previously. I think he's still weak to the Ray Splasher, and he uses practically the same moves, too, so I'm just going to use a quick sub-tank, just like I pretty much did. I had a hidden sub-tank in X1 there, Vile, so that's what that happened there. But let's just use the Ray Splasher on him this time to get rid of him for good. As you can see there, the fire pillar has some tracking on it. Now, those bullets are the same as they were previously, and we have a lot more room to dodge them now, but there's also the blue bullets that he uses. Now, the blue bullets will just get you stuck in place if you use them. Those guys. They stick you in place like that one attack that he had in X1, where he will get you stuck in place, and if he does, he can melee you, and his melee is probably his most powerful attack, so you gotta be a little careful not to get hit by it. I guess you can dodge that with I was gonna say, I guess you can dodge that with dash jump, but anyway. Don't think that this is the end, X! I will haunt you to the Could you go any slower with that text, game? It's almost like I used the world on him at this point. But just like that, Vile is destroyed once again. Alright. Same thing there, Todd. Same thing. Would have been really nice if the ride armors were more prevalent. This is kind of the game where they get the most rep, pretty much. You use them the most in this game, I find. Or at least I do. out of all of the X games, but yeah. Not so useful after this, because you don't get multiple different kinds in the other games. Well, you do get multiple different kinds, but they're usually in like one stage apiece like they were in X2, so nice touch. It just seemed appropriate considering what was happening with him there. Alright, well, we're done with half of the Sigma stages. Let's go fill up our sub-tanks again. Excuse me. I know this back and forth stuff can probably be kind of annoying there, but trust me, it won't take us too much longer to do this. I'll probably refill this time, and then I'll refill one more time once we're done with the next Sigma stage. And the reason for that will become clear once we go into the next Sigma stage and we find out the fact that, well, I'll just tell you, there's a boss rush in the next Sigma stage, so I want to have as many sub-tanks as I can, just in case I need them. I don't think I'll need them, but you can never be too careful, so out the amount of runtime that this stream has, so that makes me feel a little bit better. It makes me feel like I'm not gypping you guys for 3 days there while I'm studying for my exam and getting Final Fantasy XIV ready. So there we go. That's one. Actually, I think that's both. Yes, it is. See how easy that is? Nice and simple. Alright, now we're ready for the next Sigma stage, so let's head in. And see what we can do about this. Hopefully I'll be more used to the arm upgrade by the end of this stage as well, because, well, after this, we're gonna need the arm upgrade basically when we're fighting Sigma in the final stages, and it gets a little hard to do otherwise. Whoop. Okay. Well, didn't really need to do that, but that's fine. Alright. Inside here we'll go, and what you'll find when you go in here is a bunch of capsules. So this is the boss rush of the Sigma stages there. You have to fight all the Mavericks over again. Now, if you're lacking for weapon or life energy, you can come over to this capsule and shoot it, and it will give you weapon or life energy. It only gives you a set amount, though, before exploding, so you got to be a little careful with it. See there, it's already gone. Now, I've filled completely back up on everything because of what it gave me, and it usually will give you a decent chunk of either life or weapon energy, depending on what you're hurting for at the time. But, yeah, you can, you'll be able to make do pretty much with what this thing gives you if you filled up your sub-tanks. So, I don't know which boss is in which capsule, though. I haven't played this game enough times to know that by heart, unfortunately. I think the only case where I do know which boss is in which stage is X1, and that's because they're not in capsules, they're in a set order. So, I think this is Blizzard Buffalo, though. Yeah. Okay. So, Blizzard Buffalo's weakness is the Parasitic Bomb, so let's use that on him. Now, the thing about the Parasitic Bomb with him is that it messes up his, oh god. It messes up his timing a little bit, so it basically forces him out of whatever pattern he's in when you hit him with the Parasitic Bomb, and it makes him use something else, so. It's not as useful as it could be, but it's not bad. Especially in cases like this where you can kind of spam it a little. Uh-oh. Whew, that was close. Gotcha. Don't you know, Blizzard Buffalo, cool guys don't look at explosions. Especially not yours. Hey there, Cancer. How's it going? Ice gives you 90% chance of health. Yes, we've reflected on that. Ooh, another thing, actually, that I just recently learned about this capsule here is that if you slash it with the Z-Saber, it will destroy it, but you automatically get an extra life out of it if you do that. So if you're hurting for extra lives, you can use the Z-Saber for it, so that's pretty nice. Now, let's see. That was Parasitic Bomb and Blizzard Buffalo, so that means this is probably Blast Hornet, if I had to be honest, but I'm not really sure. Or somebody weak to the Frost Shield. I guess we'll find out when we go inside. Let's see. This is Toxic Seahorse. Oh, he's weak to Frost Shield. Okay, that makes sense. So, we can do this. Now, I can't jump over him, unfortunately, but you can kind of lock him down with the Frost Shield, too, so, you know, if you're not a dumb like I am. Basically, just do it like that. Let him jump, and then I'm just going to take the hit from those acid projectiles because I'm impatient. There we go. Felt like the new devs just throwing stuff at us. They did try to think so. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are some things that are sort of shortcomings in this game, and it's evident from the fact that they had different developers on this game than they did from X1 and X2. In my humble opinion, this game, it doesn't live up to the expectations that I have from the series from X1 and X2, but I don't think it's as bad as, first of all, I remember it being, and second of all, as bad as the internet gives it credit for. I think it's pretty good. It's just not as good, in my eyes, as X1 and X2. Definitely not as good as X1. X2, no, I don't even think so. It's closer to X2, but it's not quite there yet in my eyes, so... Yes, his AI is in fact messed up, like I said on the last episode. If you jump, like I said in the last episode, when he looks at you after running into the wall, jump like this and he'll try to preempt you because he thinks you're doing this to jump over onto his wall, and he'll look the other way, so. Anyway, who's here? Neon Tiger. Should I use his weakness, or should I just use the pellet spray thing that I've been doing? His weakness is the spinning blade, so since I don't get to use spinning blade all that often, I guess I might as well. There you go. I guess we'll just do it this way. Sort of reminds me of Sting Chameleon almost when you're using the boomerang cutter on him, so it's pretty easy like this. I mean, you're using boss weaknesses, so you can't expect any difficult challenge at this point, but, you know. It's not meant to be particularly challenging since you have all of their weaknesses at this point, so. Ha! Gotcha on the way down. You can quick kill Seahorse due to some iframe issues, same with Crush Crawfish. No idea, actually. I think I've heard something along those lines, but I've never seen anybody do it. But basically, I think, if I remember right, now this is a rough explanation, please correct me if I'm wrong there, Canster, but I think what happens is that their iframes get messed up when you hit them with a weakness hit, so like when I was hitting Toxic Seahorse with that Frost Shield there, if I hit him while he was having a seizure on the ground with the Frost Shield, you could like spam it into him, and he would take lots of damage from it, like he would continuously take 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 until he jumped again. I think that's how it works, but I've never actually seen anybody do it. I've heard it on a forum at one point, but actually maybe Bean did that in his playthrough, or maybe I saw it in a speedrun. I don't know, but like I said, I'll link Bean's playlist in the description of this VOD once I get all done with it. So that means this guy is going to be weak to Ray Splasher? No, he's weak to Gravity Well. Huh. Well, anyway, yeah, so Blast Hornet is weak to Gravity Well, so let's use that on him. And he has big problems with Gravity Well, so, because his little dudes blow up, and he just, yeah, he gets stunned in place by it. So move to the other end of the room, after he shoots his little bees, that is. And now that he's in phase 2, we're pretty much free. He'll just do his little swooping thing, and you can practically just stun lock him with the Gravity Well, so he'll no longer shoot the bees unless he's using his little aiming laser thing. Bye-bye, Blast Hornet. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, is it done in speedruns and you speedrun the game? Gotcha. So that's why you know all the fancy tricks. Nice. I've always thought about maybe speedrunning some of my favorite games, but I never put in the work to do it, unfortunately. Maybe in the future at some point I'll think about it. Like if I don't have any other projects that I have to play, like once I get my list of stream suggestions down and everything like that, maybe I'll put in some work trying to do some speedruns of my own. I always thought about doing Final Fantasy II in particular as a speedrun because it's a game that pretty much the speedruns of that game right now are buy 99 teleport tomes before every dungeon and then hope to God the RNG works with you. And I was like, there's got to be an easier way of doing this than that, but so far I haven't found one that beats the normal time on that game, which is like 2.5 hours, I think, is the speedrun time. So, alright, what is Crushed Crawfish weak to? Let's see. This is Tunnel Rhino's weakness. I think he's weak to Tri-Thunder because Ray Splasher is Gravity Beetle's weakness, and Tornado Fang we haven't used yet is Volt Catfish's, so he's got to be weak to Tri-Thunder. I think I just did it, actually. The little speedrun trick there. Let me out. Yeah, did you hear the little, like, the hit markers that happened there? I'm hitting him again with that. Now, I'm getting killed for it, but, there was hit markers there, so I sort of just did the trick that Canster was talking about there. I'm not very good at it, obviously, and I usually get hit with Crushed Crawfish when it happens, but that was practically it right there. Most communities are super welcoming. Yeah, that's one of the things that I sort of like about the speedrunning community is that everybody's, you know, pretty warm and welcoming to newcomers. So I'm thinking I might give it a shot at some point, but we'll see how it all goes. The Final Fantasy II speedrunning community is really small at this point, so I don't know how warm and welcoming they'll be, but they might just be. They may surprise me. I don't know. I got so many games to play at this point, though, that I don't really have time to practice in speedruns. So, got to get through my backlog first, then I'll consider it. Swap the Buster and mash him down. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Because the iframes would be gone in that case, so that makes sense. Okay, so Volt Catfish is weak to Tornado Fang, and, well, I'm doing it wrong, but basically, he'll jump, and then his iframes will be gone. So get over top of him, let him jump, let him drop on one of the Tornado Fangs, and you're good to go. This also works in his second phase, as you'll see in a moment, and if I had used Tornado Fang when I fought him the first time, it would make things a lot easier. You could get through his hyper armor really simply, so. In some cases, he might even jump onto the Tornado Fang, so, like, again. But, you're kind of hard-pressed to do that in the second phase like this. But as you can see, this is a lot easier than dodging all of those projectiles that I had to deal with before, so. I guess I could show off what the fully charged one does as well. It sticks a tornado, well, I didn't get to show it there, but it sticks a tornado out of X's arm, and you can run into enemies with it, but it also allows you to get stuck on a wall when you jump up on a wall. You can wall climb to a certain point, and then the drill will keep you stuck on that wall instead of sliding down. So there's some utility there. I usually don't use it for that. I usually just use it for stage obstacles, but, I mean, it's useful in certain situations, so. How do you speedrun? Yeah. Alright, Conker, take it easy. Last game you speedran was Mega Man 04, not good at, and your route wasn't very good. You had an hour and 4 minutes. Well, that's faster than I'll be doing Mega Man 04, that's for sure. Probably take a few hours to get through that game. Like, I'm anticipating when I do the Zero series that each game will take like 3 or 4 streams. It'll be completely blind for everything except 01 though, so I might be wrong. I don't know yet. We'll find out, but we'll get there eventually too. Like, after I'm done with the X series up to X6, I'll be, the next project that I'll be doing of my own merits in the X series will be the Zero series, so we'll get there eventually. Anyway, Tunnel Rhino's weak to Acid Bomb, so we'll use that on him. Actually, let me see if I can direct, never mind, I was going to say, let me see if I can direct the Acid Bomb. Oh, you can. Okay, that's interesting. If you hold, what I did there was I held straight up, and the acid projectile went straight up, really. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about Acid Bomb either, but apparently you can direct it if you hold in a direction when you're using it. I think it's only up and down, though. I don't think you can force it to travel farther than its normal designated arc. But, I mean, it all works. So, I think we only got one guy left now. Let's see, I got a lot of life energy out of that one, so what is this next guy weak to? It's Gravity Beetle, so he's weak to Ray Splasher. Alright. Let's get down there without killing ourselves now, because I think there's a bottomless pit below me, so I don't want to deal with that. I guess we could find out. X3 has no Mets. What are Mets exactly? Is that shorthand for something? Because I wouldn't have the first idea. So this is how you fight Gravity Beetle. When he gets too close, dash to the other end of the room and then keep using Ray Splasher because it goes through his hyper armor. So he's probably the one that has the worst effect from the his weakness being used on him. So can I get away with this? Yes, I can. Cool. Oh, Metools. Okay, gotcha. I didn't click it between the Mets and the emoticon that you have there with the Metool. My brain just didn't click for that. So I was being a derp. Sorry. But yeah, that's a good point. I didn't. I guess I didn't. It never registered in my brain that this game didn't have Metools either. Huh. And then they come back in X4, so I wonder why they were absent in this one. It's a little weird. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. I think we may have just maxed out our weapon energy again. Well, almost there. We used a lot of Tornado Fangs against Volt Catfish, but now that we've beaten all of these bosses here, this door is open. It wouldn't have been open otherwise, so... yeah, dead Metool. Pretty much. Alright, let's check and see what's down here. Oh, another one of these sections. Alright. Now, when I was playing last time, this section, the lasers showed up sometimes, but didn't show up other times. So, I mean, you don't have to be careful about it. You could just dash right through. It's just that if you don't dash properly, you'll get hit by them. So you got to be a little careful, but it's fine because there's this over here, so that's perfectly okay with me. Where's my spinning blade? There it is. And here we are at the boss fight of Sigma Stage or Doppler's Fortress 3. Dr. Doppler himself. Because they have to save the last stage for Sigma. I mean, of course, why wouldn't they? I've been waiting for you, X. I'm Dr. Doppler. I've been watching your battles closely. Your victories over my men have been most impressive. I need superior Reploids like yourself, X. I offer you the chance to join us. Together, we shall build a utopia where the Reploids rule under the watchful eyes of Sigma, our lord and master. Well, the last time you built a utopia, Doctor, not for nothing, it only lasted 3 months, so, not gonna happen. No way, Doc. Your schemes end here and now. Pretty much what he said. Perhaps you are not as smart as I once thought. Prepare to be ripped apart and to be born again as part of the new body of Sigma. I bless you, my son, the body of Sigma. But anyway, yeah, Dr. Doppler has his battle body of his own to fight us with. Now, he's weak to the acid burst there. The thing about Doppler, he has this projectile attack here. He'll also do a dash across the arena like this, sort of the way that Bit did it. So you basically, if you jump, he'll end up across the arena there. Now, if you shoot at him, which I'll show off in a minute, he can gain this green shield, just like that. Now, what that does is every time he gets hit during the green shield's duration, he actually regains health. So you don't want to shoot at him too much while the green shield is in place, or else you'll end up with some serious issues, just like that right there. Usually why I prefer to just shoot him. Because otherwise he'll just do that. But as long as he's invulnerable and he has his shield up, he will regain health. So you gotta be a little careful, or else that'll happen. Let's try that cross-charge shot on him. Since this is the only situation where the cross-charge shot in this game I would consider to be meritable because of how much damage it does at the outset. And it's slow-moving, just like Dr. Doppler, so I can deal some pretty decent damage to him with it. But yeah, as you can see, he'll re-heal up the attack that I did there, so you don't want to do that too much. You can also fire away from him, just like I did there, in order to make it so that he doesn't heal himself. So, But this fight takes a little while, but it's not too bad. He's pretty much not that difficult, honestly. And that's the thing, is that even though the fight takes a while, he's really not too hard to kill. It's just a matter of getting through his barrier there. I think that's where most people have trouble with this fight, is figuring out how the hell to hit through his barrier, so... Yeah, I could be using the acid burst, but we'll make the cross charge shot useful for something, you know. Might as well. Gotcha. Hey, Rockin' Fun. Yeah, long time no see. It's going pretty good. How's it going for you? This fight is too long, Todd. It definitely takes a while, but it's mostly, again, because of his shield technology, so that's the gimmick, really, of the fight. Once you figure that out, it's just like, okay, I got this. It's sort of like the second to final boss fight at the end of X6, if I'm being honest. I get a lot of PTSD flashbacks of that boss fight when I'm doing this one, so... You are strong, X. Strong enough to defeat Sigma. Doppler, can you talk? Can you help me? What can I use to defeat Sigma? Sigma's true form is that of a computer virus. Figured that out from the last game. I was corrupted by him, and I created a horrific new body for him. So he wasn't a bad guy after all, he just got corrupted by the Sigma virus. Keep that in mind, it's going to become a recurring trend. Where's the body now? It's in the underground hangar of this lab. I don't think Sigma has occupied it yet. But I could be wrong. Don't worry about me. Destroy the body before it is too late. Time is running out. For all of us, X! Thanks, Doc. And because of the way that I played the game, that's the last we'll see of Dr. Doppler. There's two endings to this game, one of which you are saved by Doppler, and the other of which we're going to get in this playthrough, because you get saved by somebody else, and you'll know who that somebody else is in a few moments once we get that far. But we are done here. Did I use any sub-tanks? I don't think I used any sub-tanks in that stage, so I think we're just going to go. What the hell? Missed some things like the finale of XCOM. That's okay, Rockin' Fun. It's no big deal. You lived through the entire playthrough, so that's a good thing. Henriquez was one of the most useful people in my squad, mostly because of the support, so... But from most of your time playing was, I have no idea what I'm doing, but oh well. Well, I was telling Todd to give it a second shot because I had actually, to be honest with you, a lot more fun with this game than I thought I was gonna when I was doing the test playthrough and figuring out how the mechanics of the whole game worked. So I would recommend playing it again because you might find that it's a little bit better than you remember. At least that's how I feel anyway. Especially since in this case I'm spamming special weapons in this game and they're pretty strong, so... That was a nice Matrix dodge. As you can see, the battle body, quote-unquote, I guess that's not even the battle body actually over there, but Sigma's got some kind of body in stasis over there, so that's not good. Oh, hey, Zero, what's up? I'll go ahead and destroy the power generator. You and your power generator, Zero. X, you go upstairs and destroy Sigma's body. I thought that's what you wanted to do. Well, he knows who the real hero is here. Anyway, there goes Zero. So now we get to go upstairs and take care of the hard parts. Yeah, this boss fight coming up here, I used to have nightmares about it. Now I think I've got it handled a little better. That was a weird dash. Up we go. Where are you, Sigma? There you are. We meet again, X. It was easy to corrupt that fool, Doppler. And I would have succeeded if not for you meddling kids, if you hadn't interfered. But we are always destined to meet, aren't we, X? Let the eternal struggle begin. Oh, that destiny crap again. Here we go. Okay, so here's the thing about Sigma's projectiles in this fight. There is a way to dodge them doing some fancy BS, but basically my best way of dodging them all is doing exactly what I just did there. Dash off the wall after, I think, like, once that first fireball gets to you, dash off the wall, hang in midair a little bit, and then do an up dash. and you should be able to dodge them a little bit easier than you otherwise would have. Okay, I'm not doing so hot right now because I got hit by one of them, but you get the idea. I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, and it's really not working for me. Okay, I didn't dash at all that time, but all right. Hang on, I need a sub-tank. But yeah, basically the idea that I do is first fireball, jump up on the wall. Get as high up as you can, then just before the first fireball is about to hit you, jump off the wall, hang in midair a little bit, and then up dash. And you'll dodge everything if you move towards Sigma after that. So that's my little cheap trick version of dodging all of that. You can actually dodge all of them properly by using some well-timed dashes on the ground, but I don't like doing that. It usually takes too much coordination, and as we've said before, my hand-eye coordination is not what it used to be, so... But yeah, up dash is pretty useful in this fight. And I kind of messed it up there a little bit, but that's okay. Now, eventually, once he gets down a certain amount of health, he'll start throwing his shield at you, and you got to be a little bit quicker on the draw there in order to dodge his shield, but that was decently fast there. Sometimes he'll dash right into it, too, so that kind of helps a little bit. You could just dash underneath him to make it a little easier, but I'm kind of sucking at that right now. Okay, I need to use another sub-tank already. This is not good. I'm not supposed to use this many sub-tanks on this first go, but that's fine. We're fine. There we go. Got him. 2 sub-tanks down, 2 to go, and, well, obviously that's not his final form, because Sigma always has more than one form to deal with. Give X3 a second chance. Well, that's good. That way you can kind of give it a second look and see if there's any merit to it that you didn't see the first time. Well done, X, but I'm far stronger than my previous forms. Behold the power of the ultimate battle body. Oh boy, that's not good. Oh, shit. Well, there's the ultimate battle body that Sigma has there. It's big, it's fat, it's slow-moving, and it's only vulnerable to the X-Buster, which is partially why this fight usually ends up being very difficult for me. The distinct thing about the Sigma form here is that, well, he'll shoot his bombs and stuff out at him, but you can't really hit him without sort of... It's kind of... Basically, it's kind of hard to hit him. That's the big thing. You have to kind of aim at his shoulder plate instead of at his head. His head is the only vulnerable part on him, but you have to kind of, like I said, aim at the shoulder plate in order to even deal damage, as you can see there. It's tough. It's not easy. I might make it look slightly simpler, but I'm actually going to use another sub-tank right here. Alright, 1 left. Let's do this. Yeah, it's not easy hitting him here because you gotta, like I said, aim at the shoulder plate. There's bombs and everything going everywhere, so it's sort of... It becomes challenging if you don't know what you're doing. Oh, God. I was trying to use the up dash to get away from that, but... Yeah, as you can see, I'm not too hot at this. Also, regular shots don't work, so you gotta kind of... Okay, I need another sub-tank. Alright, we got 1. We're all out of sub-tanks, so let's see how much... I got about half health left to deal with. Okay. Let's see what I can do. Maybe if I don't take bombs to the face like that, we'll be in better shape, but I gotta be kind of careful. There we go. Back to taking bombs to the face again. Not good. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's fine. Not good, not good, not good. Yeah, as you can see, a little hard to hit him on the draw here. You got to kind of time your shots in between hitting him with the bombs and or hitting the bombs and getting them out of your way, and hitting him. So. Got him. Sweet. should probably get rid of that other charge shot that I'm holding on to as well. But that fight's tough. If you die on that fight, there isn't really any good place to kill yourself in this stage either, so it sort of sucks a little bit. And then you have to go back to Gravity Beetles to get your tanks back, which is what I would have done if we would have died there. But yeah, it's a little tricky, that fight. Anyway, we got him anyway, though, so we're probably okay.
No, it can't be! I can't even defeat you with this magnificent body!
No, Sigma, you can't.
There seems to be only one choice now. I'll possess you!
Uh-oh. How do you plan to do that? Oh god, it's Mode 7 Sigma again! Do I have to shoot him, or...? He's not taking any damage. Oh crap, the floor is lava, literally. So now you just gotta climb up this part. It's not as easy as it sounds. Especially in this last part, because Sigma will get above you and do that to you, which is not good at all. They'll knock you off the wall, which knocks you into the lava. And if you had low health after the Sigma fight, well, that could cause some serious problems there. But we had the body chip, so that pretty much saved me there. Quite a bit of trouble, that is.
Damn, it's a dead end.
Uh-oh. So now what do? We couldn't damage him before. Anybody got any strike chains that I could use? I remember hating this boss. Thanks for the GG. Busy dealing with everything happening in your country and near you. Haven't heard about it, Rockin' Fun. Let me know while we're watching the credits and stuff here, because I haven't heard anything about it. At least not recently. I haven't been paying that much attention to the news internationally, so yeah, let me know.
Give up, X. I'll possess your body and rule the whole world!
That's what you think!
Ah! You're Zero! It's you again!
Maybe you shouldn't have let him go last time. How do you like that, Sigma? I picked up an anti-Sigma virus program from Doppler and used it on my beam saber. Man, that would have been helpful, wouldn't it? Probably would have been able to deal with Sigma in, oh, I don't know, 4 hits? Sorry about the delay, X. I thought the program might be the only thing that would work against Sigma. Well, he keeps coming back otherwise, so I guess it'll work. Of course, the question is, if Doppler had an anti-Sigma virus on him anyway, why didn't he just use it when he realized Sigma was controlling him? Like, hello?
My program is disappearing, but someday I will... Yeah!
I couldn't hold it long enough. Let's get out of here, Zero! Was trying to hold that scream long enough to let the screen fade out, but my voice box just couldn't handle it. Well, another day, another fortress destroyed. At least this one didn't end up in the sea like the last two. I'm gonna take a drink because my voice box hates me for what I just did with Sigma's scream there. X has crushed Sigma's plan once again. Excuse me. But many questions still occupy his mind. Why must humans fight against Reploids? Wait, there were humans we were fighting? I don't remember that. And why must Reploids fight against each other? That would be war, X. War is hell, and war never changes, so, you know. As X stares at the burning remnants of Doppler's lab, his body trembles from an unknown sorrow. Or a known sorrow from all the people he's had to, or Reploids he's had to kill so far. What does fate have in store for me, he wonders. Well, fate's about to tell us exactly what it has in store for you. He can only hope that someday Dr. Light's plan for him will finally be revealed. Unknown to X, we're about to tell you rather than show you exactly what his destiny is, which is a terrible, short-sighted thing to do when you're writing something, but we're gonna do it anyway. To save mankind, he must destroy Zero. Why? You haven't made any reasoning for why that is so far, game, so what the hell? But only time will tell when and why. So only Capcom can tell us why we have to destroy Zero, which pretty much just means we have to kill him for the plot! That's just great, Capcom. That's just great. I mean, I love the series as much as the next guy, but when they're pulling stuff out of their ass like this, I'm gonna call them on it. But that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, honestly, just from the test playthrough and from playing it through here on Twitch for the past couple of streams, this game is better than I remember it being. I remember hating this game originally, but I think it was mostly due to the fact when I played it originally, I played this one later in my life as well, like how I did with X2. When I first received the X Collection on the PS2, that's when I first played X3, and I didn't like it, not at all, because, excuse me, I pretty much played through the whole game X-Buster only, and didn't really experiment with the special weapons to see what kinds of utility they had. And because of that, I remember having a huge difficult time of it, and I didn't have a very easy way of refilling my sub-tanks, so there was one point where I had to put the game down for about 3 days at one point because I died on Sigma, the final version of Sigma there, having he had very little health left in his second form, in the battle body form, and I used all my sub-tanks, and I was like, fuck, how do I refill these things? I didn't know about the frost shield trick at the time, so I had no idea how to refill them, and I just put the game down for 3 days, and then I came back later and I beat him using 2 sub-tanks after I filled them up. So, but yeah, it's better than I remember it being. The special weapons have a lot of utility in this game, a lot more than pretty much any other game in the series, so that's actually pretty nice. I like that a lot. They end up pretty much being better than the X-Buster by the end game, although you do get that one last little challenge with Sigma's second form with the X-Buster, and be like, if you haven't been using it at all, you might have a hard time of fighting him with it because of his teeny tiny little hitbox. But yeah, the special weapons in this game are really good, and honestly, the game isn't as challenging as I made it out to be when I first played it, because I tried to play it like I played X1 and X2, where I pretty much just picked a stage, went through the entire stage, and killed the boss at the time. And the thing about the bosses in this game is that a lot of them, with the exception of Neon Tiger, are very difficult to fight if you, A, don't know how to exploit them a little bit and control them in the boss fight. Even Neon Tiger has that problem. If you don't know what you're doing there, you're going to get killed. And then you have to go through all these large stages again. The stages in this game are pretty big. They're not like quick run-throughs like they kind of are in X1 and X2. So you have to play this game differently than you've played any of the X games before this, and practically any of the X games after this, where you pretty much have to go into stages, collect some upgrades, and then die, if you're not a god at the game. Like, I'm not a god at this game, so I can't just go into stages and beat them, unless it's, again, Neon Tiger stage. I can beat that right away at base power and be fine. But yeah, the special weapons are great, their utility's good, and if you play the game the way that I played it, you make it a much more manageable experience for yourself, where you're not really inclined to play the best you can possibly be at the very beginning of the game when you're not used to the mechanics of the game yet. So I think I did a decent job of showing you an alternative where you can kind of be like not the best player, not have the best coordination, and still manage to beat it. Of course, that means you have to do some grinding and backtracking through the stages to get all the upgrades first, and we pretty much only beat 2 Mavericks, and I had almost all of the life upgrades and all of the E-tanks at the time, so it requires a little bit more forethought and planning, I think, the way that I played it than before, but yeah, it's a pretty good game. Again, I wouldn't rank it as high as X1 and X2 in my book, but the Super Nintendo trilogy is probably my favorite of the 3, I guess? I guess the ones on PS2 are kind of a duology. I wish they showed you, again, X's power there, or Zero's power, to kind of give you an idea of how well you did in the game, but they didn't tie that to anything there, so. But yeah, it's pretty good. And the Super Nintendo trilogy is, because of the fact that this game is so much better than I remember it being, Super Nintendo trilogy is probably my favorite out of the 3 sets of games there. But that's it. We're done with Mega Man X3 and the Super Nintendo trilogy, so the next time we meet with Mega Man X4, we'll be moving on to the PlayStation era, where, well, they didn't really jump into 3D, but they had a lot more graphical fidelity to work with. How does it work for them there? We will find out when we get to X4. But before I go, I'm going to read what Rockin' Fun says, so hang on one second. Basically 2 reasons. Maybe people go on the street trying to make himself be heard. cost of oil and school reform. President decided to send violent police repression. Oh, jeez, that's not good. Shows high schoolers being beat up bad by the cops. Decided to fight back. Some schools burning. Wow, that's rough, rockin' fun. Hopefully, hopefully everything gets resolved in such a way that it's not rioting in the streets, but also the president not being a dick in your country from here on. So I hope everything goes well for you in the coming days. I'll try to keep my eyes more on the international news to keep ahead of that stuff then, just to see what's going on. Better than you for these games. Thanks, Rockin' Fun, I appreciate that. I'm not the best at these games, but I do test runs at first so that I can kind of get the mechanics down for myself a little bit better, just so that way I can sort of be like, this is kind of what you can do to make the game a little easier for yourself. And if I helped people out by doing so, then I've done my job, so... And I'd like to believe that I did that with this game, because this game is hard if you don't use the mechanics for yourself. You can kind of gimp yourself voluntarily if you sort of try to do it without just blasting through it like you do, or like I did, with X1 and X2 the first time. But if you use the mechanics well, it all works for you. So, like I said, that's going to do it for Mega Man X3, the Stream Edition. Next time we meet for the X Series, we'll be taking on the PlayStation 1 era and Mega Man X4. That will also be a 2-stream project, but before we get to that, I have an exam to do this Wednesday that's kind of important, so that's also why I won't be streaming again until Thursday. I got to study for that exam pretty good to make sure I get a good grade on it. And once I'm done with that exam, we will meet up on Thursday for probably one of the largest projects I've ever had to do for both my stream and my YouTube channel ever. It's an MMO, my first one ever, and it's Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. So, until we get to that point on Thursday, thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream. I hope you learned something from this if you weren't a fan of X3 previously, because it's not as bad as everybody makes it seem like it is. You just have to play it a different way than the other games in the X series, that's all. And I will see all of you on Thursday when we start up A Realm Reborn. Until then, everyone, take care and have a good night. Don't listen to Trump speaking nonsense about the stuff happening near you. Yeah, I'll try to make sure that I use some reputable news sources to check it out, that's for sure. Because sometimes here in the U.S., the news gets a little, well, I'm not going to use the term because it's associated with someone that is a proponent of that kind of news, but I'll use multiple sources, that's all. X4's got to be good. I am going to be... looking forward to X4. It's my second favorite in the series, so it'll be good. Trust me, it'll be very good. Thanks, Rockin' Fun. Good luck with yours as well, if you've got some. That's what it sounds like anyway, but yeah. Hopefully you do well, and hopefully I do well. I'll let you know on Thursday.